I'm Charlie Frost. I work at Schroders Investment Management and I look after our benefits and well-being. I'm here to talk to you today. I just realised the slides are down there. I keep looking. I'm here to talk to you today about creating a global well-being culture. So my first top tip is that no one size fits all. So well-being has come a long way with employers no longer debating whether to invest in it, but actually how to do it. There's no shortage of well-being programs and approaches employers can take to make sure that they look after their employees' overall health and well-being and to keep them feeling happy, healthy and secured. One of the approaches can be to use a globally themed campaign as part of your strategy, and this can be extremely useful when looking at rolling out things globally. A shared focus on one health and well-being theme across your organisation can give a sense of global alignment and collaboration. However, it is important that these themed campaigns allow that each individual location have the flexibility to focus the campaign on their individual health risks that have been identified to affect their population. By allowing locations to run locally led events using your global theme, this ensures that the campaign is relevant to the audience and helps increase engagement and the impact of the campaign. Another approach you might take is to use technology to support your global wellbeing program. The advantages of a digital approach is that it can help reduce costs, the resourcing required, and it can ensure a consistent delivery of message. Digital applications are a particularly powerful tool when they contain an interactive element and some form of corporate challenges. However, a digital approach should also be partnered with some form of face-to-face wellbeing campaigns on the ground, events, training, and so like. So, in reality, there is no one size that fits all, and you need to find out when it comes to rolling out your wellbeing globally, what approach is going to suit your organisation, and critically, which one are your employees going to engage with. So my second top tip is think global, act local. So one of the biggest challenges for any wellbeing program is getting employees to sign up, engage. A key factor to this is communication, and getting it right means being mindful of the cultural differences of your audience, any stigma, being mindful of the language, and this doesn't just mean which language you decide to communicate in, Chinese, English, etc. It actually means the style and positioning of your communications and also any terminology that you've got as content. So I'm going to share some learning that I've had. So when it comes to cultural differences and stigma, a few years ago when I approached our APAC locations, I wanted to use the global theme mental health. And they were particularly hesitant in approaching that topic and having it as a theme. And that was mainly because it hadn't been spoken about. But our employee opinion survey had highlighted that actually this was an area that we really needed to work on. So from a business point of view, despite the cultural differences and stigma, we had to make it work because we wanted to increase the scores on the employee opinion survey and people's understanding of the support that was available through Schroders. So we repositioned a lot of our training, events and communications to actually use the word resilience, which was perceived as quite a positive communication, and also started to use the words mental fitness and mental well-being instead of mental health. So we started very light topics. 2 years later, it's enabled us to actually have hold the topics that we originally wanted to do around the more serious mental ill health and how people can seek support should they be struggling. So another example of some learning that I've had is in relation to the terminology. So we ran a few years ago some cancer awareness events. We held them in the UK, and we made sure that an output of those events was some slides that we could share globally. So we put in a lot of thought of making sure that the content was right, it didn't signpost anything that was just specific to UK, all the signposts reference, go to HR, see what support you've got, etc. We sent the communication out, brilliant, and then suddenly quite a few people said, excuse me, what's a GP? And then we realised that the terminology GP is not actually understood everywhere in the world. So we now use the word doctor. So you can think you've got all your bases covered, but just be mindful, you're not always going to get it right first time. So be patient, it is a learning curve. And so lastly but not least, to me, success of a wellbeing campaign is more than just awareness. So at Schroders, we take a three-pronged approach. We run awareness events, educational programs. We have a wellbeing calendar, like a lot of you, and we incorporate that with corporate challenges. We use the model which I referred to in the no one size fits all. So we try to use global themes, have an umbrella, and let people have cultural manipulate that theme to suit their audience. But awareness is only one part. So wellbeing programs should also have a strong educational framework that drives behavioural change. The education should be focused where possible on the employees' health risks, because this will provide you with the best opportunity to improve overall health and well-being. You also need to make sure your managers and HR and everyone in the organisation has the skills and support and knowledge to be able to improve their own well-being and the well-being of others. And you can achieve this by implementing training programmes. And then lastly but not least, you need to make sure that you've got the correct kind of triggers, interventions and support. So this is actually about the operational side of your wellbeing campaigns, which is not as easy to launch globally because they're going to differ from location to location, but the framework that you can give each location to work in is very similar. So for them to identify the health risks, put triggers in place, put interventions in place and make sure that they, in their locations, create care pathways that are then communicated to the individuals. So I realise there's a lot more involved in creating cultural wellbeing, but they're my 3 top tips. Thank you very much.